everyone and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll be going over what I read over April, what I watched, and what I played. I'll go over what I rated the book, which is 1 to 5 stars, give a spoiler-free review, and then go into depth what I thought about the book, which will have a spoiler warning on the screen. I will give a rating of 1 to 10 stars for what anime I have watched also. Let's go ahead and get started. I read 7 books this month, and no DNFs. Bad Blood, the last book to the Natural series, and I have to say, I really liked, if not loved, the series. I would heavily recommend the series if you like detective or mystery stories, but yes, YA, but it doesn't feel like for kids. There are scenes that are heavy for teenagers to read and to understand, but that's healthy for them to understand that most criminals and killers are not awful to just men, but women and children. Notable quotes being, quoting The Tempest with, "Hell is empty and all the devils are here. I love you, today, tomorrow, covered in blood, haunted and waking up in the middle of the night screaming. I love you, Cassie, and I am here, and I am not going anywhere." I did get the edition that had the novella 12, so I will be counting them as separate books. I was wanting more from 12, but it was still good nonetheless. Honestly, I'm glad that I picked up this series and would definitely reread them whenever I'm in the mood for a good detective YA series. 4.25 for Bad Blood and 3.75 for 12. Voice of the Ocean. I love mermaids. Simple as that. I grew up watching the Little Mermaid Disney movie and its counterparts all the time that I was obsessed with mermaids. And because of that, I will not let a mermaid media let go out of my sight. I saw this really beautiful cover and decided that I wanted it. Plot summary is about a princess mermaid that saves a prince from an attack from her fellow merfolk and is banished to kill the prince. The story was pretty good and the world building was really shined. I loved how much mermaid legends and lore was engrossed in this singular book that almost 400 pages. There was moments that I didn't really care for, like the romance, but it kept me interested until the book ended. 4.25. Ina Morta. I don't keep up with Ava Reed after her study and Drowning series since she made not particularly great books before or after the series, looking at you, Juniper and Thorn. But when I saw the artwork for this book, I had to go get a copy for myself. I was more shocked on how beautiful this edition was. But the main thing that I heard was that her most gruesome book she ever wrote, Gothic horror with the themes that genre follows, was really what I needed. Trigger warnings on necrophilia, which I thought was going to be a necromancer having relations with a reanimated corpse like Lisa Frankenstein. Boy, was I wrong. I will go into more depth about this book and its themes in an upcoming video I'll be making. 4.5 stars. Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. This is Caitlin Downery's first book about her work and the insight on how and a funeral home works, especially cremations. This is really a personal experience on Caitlin's life and her personal relationship with death to how she talks with people who have lost their loved ones, with conversations on religion, like one when discussing the rapture. You're telling me our Savior can't make me whole again? If his power can heal a shark attack, he can heal a cremation. Or when she's talking about her dark time in life after an attempt on her life where she helped a woman with directions. After she's done, the woman in help replied, "I'm glad I met you." This is her most personal book ever and definitely made me appreciate on not who she is just as a content creator or even a funeral director. The silence of death of the cemetery was no punishment, but a reward of a life well lived. 4.25. Unveil. This is a sequel slash legacy to Phantom. I totally forgot she was making this and got a copy as soon as I could. I wasn't a big fan of her previous 2 books in her previous series and only liked her first one. This follows the daughter of the Borderats couple who is kidnapped by a rival family. Enemies to lovers kind of romance. Her writing has gotten better from her previous trilogy and is more action-packed than I liked, but still a good book. I liked the characters, the set scenes were well written, and the setting was a nice change from her previous books being in the Appalachian Mountains. I also do like when books have the whole "my wife" trope, so that was a plus. Some of the scenes were kind of boring, but still a good first book to her newest legacy series. I will definitely read her second book, which is coming out later this month. 4.25. The last book I read for this month was Chasing Alice. I have been wanting to read more nonfiction books like true crime, so I came across this in my second-handed bookstore. This is written by a former student of Alice Davis who was murdered by her husband in an act of domestic violence in 2011 that goes to her life up into her last days. This was a sad book to read about a tragedy of someone who did so much for her students as a teacher and to her family. It did read a little weird when they were talking about her sexuality a little bit and how she didn't leave her husband after all the shitty things he did in all those years they've been together. But I did feel the love and admiration that was written into this book to show who Alice Davis was, not just as a victim of abuse, but a person. 4.25. I watched 3 animes this month. Hell's Paradise, second season. We liked the first season enough to go watch this latest season while currently airing at the time. The animation was still good, consistently with Studio Mappa. Choreography was good, and the entire season is full of fight scenes, so if you like that, you're not going to get bored. But there wasn't a whole lot of character development, since I'm not going to go into spoilers. Me and my husband did not like Tamiya Kanchisukai, the old guy that loses his arm. Spoiler, I guess. He was so annoyingly creepy and pervy towards May, who has been the majority of the entire time been depicted as a child, except for the beginning of the season. We gave it an 8 out of 10, and we'll go watch the third season when it comes out. Frieren second season. We loved the first season so much that we were excited to hear that this newest season was coming out, that we watched it weekly, even though we had it dubbed. Madhouse never disappoints on the animation. Not just with the fight scenes, but the slice of life scenes as well. The character development was really good and great for Stark and Fern's relationship. Even though it is a short season, you shouldn't skip it. We'll be watching the third season when it comes out and still cry over it being on hiatus. 8 out of 10. Beastars final season, part 2. A finale to the series that we randomly came across after discovering that the mangaka is the daughter of the guy that made Baki. After we watched the first season and liked it a lot, I decided to continue reading the manga. I have finished the manga either before the second season or after, and was excited to see certain scenes animated, so after watching this final season, I am so disappointed. I tried not to spoil my husband on the manga and only give him answers when he asked. But he kept seeing my confused face so much, he finally asked, "Alright, what's going on?" I went to go get my physical copies of the manga and saw that they either had moved scenes around, which isn't usually a problem, or cut scenes entirely that had a reason to be there. Melon was depicted the same up until the very end, and his backstory wasn't fully fleshed out. I know a lot of people, including me, didn't love the ending of the manga very much, but it still had loose ends tied up. This adaptation had left so much loose ends to the point of people asking, "Okay, yeah, so another season's coming out, right?" No, that's it. They just wrote it so bad that I would not recommend watching this third and final season at all if you want to know the ending of Beastars. I know a lot of people don't read manga, but for a series that is so relevant to today's current climate and society, you should go read it. The only thing I would give a positive about this season is that they started to do more hand-drawn animation, which I guess would be more money in the budget, but I kind of felt jarred after being so used to the 3D animation. 6 out of 10. I only played one game this month, which was 9RIP. I wanted to get back into visual novels, especially Otome games, so I had a list of games that I was interested on either Steam, the Nintendo Switch store, or on Amazon. My husband saw this game, which was the most expensive one on my Amazon wishlist, and got it for me for our anniversary. I was interested in the horror subgenre to the game, and that the men were ghosts. There are 9 men to choose from, which was a little too much to my taste, but there are 4 different story settings to choose 2 men at a time, made it more digestible for me. Now, I only played 5 routes out of 9. One of them is a secret route, which needed another character's route, and when I realized who that secret character was, I decided not to do it. So, I'm gonna give a ranking to least to the best of the men that I chose and try not to be heavy in the spoilers because I do recommend this game for you to either play or watch. Manami. This is that character that you need to go through to get the secret route, and I didn't have a good time. I'm not into twinks nor characters that are looking younger than me, so when I saw that I had to go through his route, I was hoping it was gonna be more fun, but I just did not like him. I didn't like his attitude or his story. Like, yeah, he's an incubus, but I just wanted this route to be done with. I know a lot of people online like Minami, but I just didn't personally like him. But you might. He will be in the other realm to romance. Turaha. This is the first man you will meet when you start the game, and kind of the poster boy for the game. He is one of the first options you will have to romance if you choose the school ghost stories. And he's a good first pick. His personality is good, his backstory is tragic, his route does drag, which might bore people, and the plot did take a different direction, but I liked it better than Minami. Koharu. I was wanting this man from the start. He was my end goal when I researched that he's in the spirit world, which is the last to play. I had high expectations, and they were kind of met. He's handsome, even with the one eye, and the tough exterior to himself, but sweet and kind on the inside. I wish there were more of him and the heroine, but his backstory was nice and his route is a good middle choice for me. Seiya. I was not expecting this route to be as good as it was. I really didn't want to romance Minami, so I decided to go with Seiya first because he was more attractive. I loved how much he was head over heels with the heroine. Kind of perverted, but not perverted in a sexual way. More on like, I want to hold your hand. Oh my god, is that too much? He's kind and very sweet to the heroine, so I did like him a lot, especially if you go play any other route where he's cold or mean a little bit before you do his route. It can be fine alongside Minami and the other route. Koyo. I had no idea what I was expecting out of his route when I chose him. I just saw that he was favorited by a lot of people, so I gave him a shot and loved his route. A former horror streamer who cares about you and makes sure you are well adjusted to the spirit world. His romance was so well written and his backstory. He's the most popular choice in Japan and he's tugging on my heartstrings with them. He can be found in urban legends. Honestly, I saw they were making a sequel and added it to my wish list. I will be wanting to play this as soon as it comes out. The art style is really nice, the voice acting is great, and the music is really nice to both the slice of life and the horror parts of this game. And the one show that I watched for this month is See You in My 19th Life. I love K-dramas more than American. I like their romances, story, and acting more. I was randomly going through Netflix for a romance pick to fill the emptiness that Married My Husband left me when I finished it, and this didn't disappoint. The premise is about a woman who remembers all of her past 19 lives and decided after her 18th that she wanted to meet the boy that she fell in love with again. Honestly, I try not to have high expectations for shows, but my god, this show is really good. It's not a long show with only 13 episodes, and yeah, each episode is an hour long, but I would definitely give a recommendation to go watch it. The acting is really good with its happy moments, sad and bittersweet. The story is a little confusing towards the end, but easy to understand at the most part. The romance was well done, if not really good. Again, go give this K drama a shot. It made me cry at the end. And that was all for April. Like, share, and subscribe if you like this content, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good morning, afternoon, and night.